Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Opinions, Reviews, and Commentary. I'm Lorenzo Marchessi, and these are my thoughts, my opinions, my belief systems in terms of how I observe these things and make commentary on them. Today, I want to mention one of my other favorite shows that I loved growing up with back in the 80s. Really popular, very, very popular on NBC. It was the time when NBC had that great campaign, Be There. You got to be there. It was so good. It was so much fun. Anyway, one of their diamonds in their crown of shows they had was Knight Rider. Everyone remembers Knight Rider, right? It's the modified Pontiac Trans Am, which was so cool, starring, of course, David Hasselhoff, and, actually starring the car, which was voiced by William Daniels as Kit, Knight Industries 2000, K-I-T-T. Let's take a quick look at at what we're talking about here. This is Knight Rider's kind of flag logo they used for bumpers and things like that in between, coming back from and going to commercials, as well as a lot of the press things. You will actually see this logo here. But that's kind of really the star. David was pretty good being Michael Knight, of course. I can't imagine anyone else being Michael Knight. He was so good at it. But really, I tuned in to see this baby, this modified Pontiac Trans Am. Look at those hubcaps. Look at the shape, the style. Of course, the Cylon red eye on it. The series was created by Glenn A. Larson, who gave us Battlestar Galactica, the original in '78, and then, of course, Buck Rogers in the 25th century in 1979. Let me make sure I get that right. And, of course, he carried over that little Cylon eye thing into the Knight Rider cars, being Kit's little scanner, which was great. And it's a supercar. It's got super abilities. It got a little crazy by the fourth season, the super pursuit mode, a little too much for me. But anyway, I digress. Of course, there he is, David Hasselhoff, always looking good in a suit and a tuxedo, sitting in the control room of Kit, which is basically love that I don't know what shape you'd call that rectangle shaped steering wheel with the handles on the side and the buttons, and he's got TV monitors in there. Back then, this technology in the 80s was, it literally had those little TV monitors. But I'm sure if he were built today, they'd be the full color, high definition kind of situation. The buttons are kind of cool, flat push buttons and a couple switches and whatnot. Don't use those anymore today because obviously the functionality and the less moving parts, the more durable something is. But there it is. There's that dashboard. While we're looking at that, let me give you a little bit of history about what I know about Knight Rider. Again, it was created by Glenn Larson. David Hasselhoff was, of course, the lead. The other co-stars included Edward Mulhare, who was basically the ran Knight Industries corporation, which built Knight Rider and hired Michael Knight to basically pair up Kit and Michael as basically avengers of evil and non-do-gooders, who work under the law, who work, you can't point the finger right away, but you get enough evidence and then you can. It had two kind of technicians, and they were both female. Started with with Patricia McPherson, and then in season 3, they went to Rebecca Holden, and then by season 4, they brought back Patricia McPherson, who was my favorite as far as the mechanics go. Peter Paros was later brought in on season 4. Didn't like his character at all. I mean, they kind of wanted that youth ethnic thing going, but it just didn't work for the chemistry and dynamics of the show, which partially probably helped in its cancellation by the end of season 4. But of course, one of the other stars of the show is William Daniels. He is the voice of Kit and never made an on-screen appearance as William Daniels, or credit, I believe. He never got credit for it. Just everyone knew he was the voice. The narration in the beginning when the series started was Richard Basehart, Probably remember him from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea series. He was the captain of the ship there. One of the most memorable themes, I think, ever created for television. Instantaneously recognizable, created by Stu Phillips and Glenn Larson. Stu Phillips and Glenn Larson did Battlestar Galactica. Stu Phillips and Glenn Larson did Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Quite a team of memorable compositions. Okay, the series actually premiered on September 26, 1982, and then finished its run on April 4th, 1986. Total of 4 years. Different changes. Season 2 had 24 episodes. All the other ones had 22. Pretty well received as far as action adventure fantasy shows go. Everybody, for some reason, everybody loves a talking car, and it did well in the ratings until that 4th season. There's another close-up of the dashboard. As you can see, the monitors are tinted quite a bit. Lots of controls, lots of buttons. The displays are all those little LEDs, which is kind of cool. It's current for the time, the 80s. A little bit of retro right now if you look at it from the 2020s, but still, I wouldn't want KITT to look any other way. I mean, obviously, better buttons and stuff, but the displays, the mileage, the little LED digital mileage thing is kind of cool too. There's Edward Mulhare, basically Michael Knight's boss, and great chemistry in terms of acting. That's Rebecca Holden. She came in for one season to be the mechanic, the person who fixed KITT when he needed fixing, and he did need fixing quite so often. There's Peter Peros and Rebecca Holden. Rebecca was the one that's my favorite of the mechanics. She started the series and she ended the series, as well as Peter Peros, who was the, like I said, brought in for the youth aspect, I believe, and it just didn't work for me in terms of the chemistry. They didn't need him, basically. But there she is. They shot this on the desert, the high desert. These sequences when you see it in the opening and the closing and stuff. Great shots, great photography. The windows are tinted so you can't see that it's not David Hasselhoff. I believe they had 7 cars total, 3 picture cars, and 4 stunt cars. By stunt cars, they looked like KITT on the outside, but on the inside didn't have the fancy dashboards and all the lights and that. They were designed for rolls and flips and jumps and things like that. So they had the roll bars and the protective security for the stuntmen when they were doing the different vehicle stunts. So, but I believe there are 3 originals still out there, and I think David might have one, David Hasselhoff. This is Car. Well, every good guy has to have a bad guy, including vehicles, believe it or not. And this was Car, and I can't remember what KARR stands for right now, but it was just, if you know, put it below. Let me know. It was amazing. It was basically KITT with a different voice. It sounded very evil and nemesing and whatnot. And the only physical difference is he had a yellow light in front instead of the KITT red light that would scan across. And of course, the bottom half was painted the silver paint job. In terms of that way, on camera was done purposely so you could visually figure out who was a good guy, who was a bad guy, who was KITT, who was Car. So it made total sense. This is the Super Pursuit mode. They added that in the 4th season with Peter Peros. And again, it's kind of ridiculous. Apparently these wings and flaps and jets and foils all would come out, and it would make it drive, instead of 150 miles an hour, it would drive 250 miles an hour, which is ridiculous in the big sense, because I don't know that there's any road in any country that you can go 250 miles an hour at any length and not run into a curve or a stop sign or a stoplight or something like that. That would make that speed impractical. I mean, sure, in the desert when there's nobody there, you can go from point A to point B in 3 seconds, but in the real world, you got stoplights, stop signs, curves, and all this other stuff. So didn't care for much, and probably why the series ended up failing by the 4th season. Their attempt to bedazzle the audience just didn't work. The story and practicality, the disbelief wasn't there anymore. Then, after the series was canceled in the year 2000, they released Knight Rider 2000. And for whatever reason, they thought making Kit a cherry red vehicle would be like cool. And I'm like, no. Movie itself didn't do too well. It had a guest appearance by James Doohan, Scotty from the Star Trek series. And it just, it's pretty, but it's just not Kit. Kit needs to be Kit as far as I'm concerned. You have that expectation or whatever. They did create model kits. AMT Ertl Company did model kits for it, and the original kit. I guarantee you this kit didn't last as long as the original kit, and I believe you can still get the original kit because they still produce them because people love Kit Knight Rider. Now, after that, after the year 2000, I want to say in 2005 or 6-ish, they tried it again. They rebooted the Knight Rider 3 times. Once with a traveling van or a semi, and once with a different kind of car, and then this one, which was basically the son of Michael Knight, was taking over the Knight Industries business. And the problem with this, they turned Kit into a transformer. He could transform into anything, a VW to a big truck or whatever, and it lost its reality concept. It's more based, a character like Kit is based when they're kind of real in the universe that they're in. And you just every time he kept transforming, he kept thinking of the Transformers, and that's hard not to do and not to displace, because Kit never did that. And it's kind of cool that, you push a button and the car could change into a completely different make and model, but not practical, not Kit. Again, it's just and the series didn't do well, of course. I think it went one season, maybe a half of another, but it just couldn't hold a candle to the original. Those are the cast of the new one, Knight Rider. I forget what it's. I think it's a Charger of some sort, and you can see they split up the scanner thing into 2 parts. Again, just not Kit. Get the brash, sexy young, son of Michael Knight, and the lady who fixes him. It's give me the original. It's like, do you want a chocolate chip cookie or do you want a chocolate chip cookie with 10,000 other things on it? It's like, give me that traditional. That's what I want. But there he is again, David Hasselhoff, and one of the unique posters they used to promote the series. I believe that was a TV Guide thing as well. Remember TV Guide, the little booklets? Boy, am I old. Anyway, Knight Rider is a wonderful show. A lot of guest stars, a lot of first-time performances, again, where you see cameos of people who are now stars or celebrities or went on to bigger and better careers. The shows were written dynamically for the car and David Hasselhoff, so the dialogue and his swarthiness and his masculinity was all part of that play and made the show fun and interesting and intriguing. There was a lot of action, a lot of adventure, a lot of the special effects with the car and stunts. Really good. The first 3 seasons really held itself pretty well. But it wouldn't have worked if it weren't for William Daniels, the voice of Kit, David Hasselhoff, the lead of it, and the stories that involve, real, believable kind of situations where you could see Kit getting into a situation on his own and saving Michael or doing something. So it's a really fun show. If you've never seen it, give it a shot. The pilot episode is kind of basic. It sets you up a Kit and how Michael Knight became Michael Knight and the whole Knight Industries, the Foundation for Law and Government, which is the group that they represent in terms of helping the underdog, so to speak. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the star of the show. There's Kit in its primo form, wonderfully designed, wonderfully built by the George Barris people, by the way, same people who brought you the Batmobile, the Addams Family van, and the Munsters, and all kinds of creative television vehicles. The vehicle in Lost in Space, the moon buggy thing, I forget what it was called. But yeah, anyway, perfect design. Took a current car, modified it to some degree, gave it a new dashboard, a little scanner in the front, and history was made. It's a great show. I loved it. Hope you loved it as well. Just phenomenal programming and writing and TV shows of the 70s and 80s. That was the time when television was really blooming. Original songs and theme shows and theme musics and creativeness in terms of, you know, let's have an alien that talks, let's have a car that talks, let's have all kinds of fun stuff out there. And your sitcoms. Your sitcoms were booming as well, big time and good one. Okay, I wanted to do something special here, if YouTube will allow me to do this. I wanted to show you all 4 seasons of the show open, the titles for Knight Rider. I love the theme. Hopefully by the end of it, you'll get that in your head and you can't get it out. But it's interesting to see how the series changes over time. And hope you enjoy it. Okay, and that was it. Anyway, that's my opinion and my review and my commentary. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any comments or if I forgot anything, please put it below. I hope you subscribe. Please subscribe. I do new shows all the time. Definitely keep an eye out for my other shows. Unboxing the Geek Authority, where I actually unbox new stuff. I see it for the first time, and so do you. I have the Geek Authority's Mysterious Chamber of Collectibles, where I show you what I've been collecting for a long, long time, and what was out there and what could be still out there if you know eBay. As well as the Geek Authority show itself, where I am actually talking to actors and writers and producers and directors about their various projects and things, and cosplayers and convention goers. It's fun to hear their reactions and their insights to things, and they give great advice. So it's a good place to learn about what people are doing and how they're doing it. It might help you if it's something that you're considering pursuing or whatnot. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, ring the little bell thing for let you know when I have new shows. And again, I appreciate watching. I will see you next time, right? Right? You're going to be there, right? Anyway, see you then. And once again, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.